Welcome back, everybody. So glad you could be with me. Walter here, out by the Cushaw Squash. It's harvest time, so I thought I'd bring you along. I'm going to do a little bit of talking, but I need to get to work. We're running out of daylight. So at this point, it's a matter of chasing down the vines and finding the Cushaw. And then what I do is I'll go down and cut off any leaves around the vine, clip the vine ahead of it, and there's the Cushaw. I'll bring this one up to show you. See what I did here? I just clip the leaves. This is the little tendril that you're supposed to watch so that when it turns brown, but that's a Cushaw. And we'll put that one in the cart, in the wagon here. And then we got another one right here. Clip the vine, clip the vine, clip the leaves. And that's about it. So as I go through this, I will mention that the next step after this tomorrow will be to gather up all the vines and start a new compost pile. And at this time, the cucumbers are 99% done. So I'm just going through the vines here, looking for any more Cushaw, and clipping the vines. So the cucumbers, like I said, they're just about done. Tomatoes are almost done. That's a big one. That's a big one. So what I'll do with these, I will get them into the barn. I'm just going through the vines here, making sure there's no more here. Here's one. I will get them into the barn and let them just stay there and continue to dry / ripen. I didn't expect these to be this big. I'll have to get my scale out to see how much they weigh and do another video on that. So no more small ones. Here's a tiny one. Here's a tiny one. That'll go to the chickens. So let me tell you a little bit of a story of these Cushaw. So I planted about a dozen seed. Maybe it was only 10. I had gotten from someone through a seed sharing program. And I only ended up with 7 plants. And of the 7 plants, 2 did not quite make it. They didn't die, but they also didn't vine out and grow. So let's say this is all what's from 5 plants. So that's one of the things about gardening. Here's a smaller one. That'll go to the chickens. You know, my dad used to tell me about life in the country, on the farm. He grew up in Slovenia, over in Europe, and they learned as children, they learned about life, death, its challenges, just from the natural ways of the farm. And I know of someone who lost, he's about my age, but they lost both their sons. And he posted something very interesting, a very interesting perspective on death. And he posted how plants reproduce. They make seed, sometimes thousands of seeds. But not every seed will reproduce, will grow. Not every seed will survive drought, heavy rain, freezing temperatures. And so this was how he dealt with the loss of his sons and the fact that not everything was meant to survive. But what I find amazing is how the Creator has made everything in nature able to reproduce in great quantities, but then they get reduced to smaller quantities by thinning. So I'm curious to see the total number of squash that I get out of this and the weight. Because like I say, this was from 5 plants. There's one. I'm pretty happy with both the number and the size of these. Now, how they will keep in the basement over winter, I don't know. From what I have read, the Cushaw squash will make some of the best pies. We call them pumpkin pies, but usually we don't even use pumpkin to make pumpkin pies. It's some form of squash. That's because pumpkin is a squash. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got a bunch of them. I don't know if you can even still see me on camera. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. So at last check, I planted these almost exactly 30 feet from the edge of what once was our riding ring for horses. And they didn't quite exit the riding ring, but they touched the outer edge. So we had 30-foot spans of vines. Now here's one. Here's one that didn't make it. It's rotten. Just a little baby one. There's another one. Here's two more. I tell you what, pound for pound though, there are more pounds of squash here than I have ever had with my butternut squash, which was always my go-to. Wow. Monsters. These things are monsters. And we haven't even gotten to the oldest ones yet. But there's another one over there, and there's three more there. The good thing I brought the wagon down here. That's a lot of Cushaw. Probably even more than we need, so there's a chance that some of these will get shared with friends, family, neighbors. What do we got left here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a small one. Getting back to why I leave these green ends. It just allows them to ripen and stay preserved just a little bit better. That's another small one for the chickens. Now some of them are getting little cracks or splits, and we'll watch them. Actually, we'll watch them all. Now, where I am now is right near, I'm trying to follow the vine. That was right near the original plant, but it wasn't the original plant. These are some of the oldest ones. This one, this one, but I want these out of the field now before, see, like this one's got a little bit of a bruise on it. I'll have to watch it. It's healed over. Okay. There's one way over there. I'll go get that one. And then, like I said, tomorrow I'll come out and we'll rake up the vines and leaves, and we'll start a new compost pile. I don't know if you can see it. Right here, there was a mound, and that mound was an old compost pile. I even planted marigolds in here too, with the hopes that it would help keep some bugs away. We'll cut them down and probably save a few for seed, and the rest will go to the chickens. Chickens love marigold. It's good for them too. Mama, that's a big one. That's the old one. That's the old Bahama Mama here. We're going to go get a weight on that one tonight and see how much that one weighs. Cushaw squash. That's a big one. Green Strip Cusahaw Squash. There's a lot of pies in that one. So that's it. We got a wagon load. Let me get the camera and bring you over. Show you what we got.